Uduasha city, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow. 800 years ago, the gates of death were broken by the Emperor Immortal. The 5 key-bearers, however, had already unlocked them and walked right through. It is in Uduasha city they dwell. Now, the ghost field breathes next to our reality, lit by the eternal flame of the well of Udu. It is a second skin, a place where thought and will struggle against gravity and light. In other places, the dead congregate in the ghost field, but in Uduasha, the well city, the hell city, they fall straight into the flames. See its glittering districts: Kshitijpur, where the rich plot to buy the horizon; Bunda West, where the refugees of 2 different nations flock; and Pasarhandu, the vertical maze of market and murder. And here is Udepat, where the Ceaseless Temple resides. Its inhabitants, a family, a snake, and a god. The temple has stood since before the gods of this world were forgotten. Watch as it turns the wheels of revolution. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about people who take risks so they can survive against the odds.
Hi everyone, it's Zoheb with a recap of the previous episode. Last episode, Miraz came back to the temple from his stay at Amitav's clinic to find that once again Scovlanders have come to seek the aid of the Temple of the Ceaseless Wheel. The Scovlanders have run afoul of the Kethrysi, displaced farmers from another city in Iruvian, who are looking for work and competing with Scovlanders for space in the immigrant section of the Port district of Bundervest. The Kethrysi have turned their sickles into swords, and since Freya's disappearance left the Scovlanders without a leader, the Kethrysi have taken the opportunity to hit the Scovlanders for their turf. As the Scovlanders pleaded for the temple to intervene on their side, the crew debated whether or not to get involved. Miraz was convinced that it's just immigrants fighting each other over the drug trade, but Abbas was sympathetic and aware of the root, systemic inequalities that drive the poor and displaced towards violent crime. Vickers wanted to help simply because it just occurred to her that it's bad when people exploit other people. Inspired by this epiphany, the crew decided to solve the gang war by getting their friend Hardil Subramanian to employ the Kethrysi and give them jobs in the operation of one Mr. Peter Samhorse, whom the crew do not know is a mob boss. Hardil was only too happy to employ the Kethrysi, but their leader, a badass sword fighter named Ramu, was too proud to work for Mr. Peter Samhorse. In fact, Ramu and his blades were so adamant they won't work for Munna, they took the opportunity to pay the Ceaseless Temple a visit, to make sure they didn't interfere in the turf war in Bundervest. And thus we rejoined the crew, Ramu's fighters having breached the compound and captured Zajidan while he was out on his veranda enjoying his morning tea. Before we get into the episode itself, a content warning. This is an unusually violent episode by and large, and there are 2 particular moments that are unusually shocking and graphic. At the time of recording this recap, I do not have the timestamps for these moments, my apologies, but they shall be put inside the description. We're flagging these 2 moments largely so that you are not caught off guard by them, and also so that if you wish, you may skip over them.
So, I realized that we should have marked load for this engagement. And I realized that the load for Vickers, and maybe everyone else, depends heavily on what time of day it is when this is happening.
Well, given that it's a 6, we know that Jajadu was drinking chai. I actually think this is the morning. Because why else would he be drinking chai outside? Right? He's got up early and he's like...
That means Vickers is asleep and therefore on a light load. I can't.
Yeah, I mean...
If it had been the evening, right, she could have been doing roof ball exercise or whatever and actually have a medium load and like have some things, but...
Yeah.
I'm on a light load because I'm not a morning person.
I think Abbas went jogging or something, you gotta keep healthy, and he's in some kind of equivalent of a tracksuit.
See.
Very good.
Miraz is... Let's see. So, Zajidan was on the balcony in the morning drinking tea.
Yeah.
I think I had just been there, talking to him.
Sure.
and I had probably gone off to, I don't know, fetch some more parathas or something.
Mhm.
So I am light, but I have parathas.
Great. Yeah. So functionally medium.
Priorities.
So that's
Yeah.
that's quite a heavy meal, you see.
Yeah. I see what you did there. Very good.
Uh-huh.
Joan is in her room working out in a light load.
Excellent. I guess like we're really leading into now. It feels like they rolled a crit. Um,
No. If they
Great.
rolled a crit, then Zajidan would already be. Oh wait, no, that already happened.
Yeah, indeed. So I mean, like, you tell me where you're like interrupting here because I think what has happened is that Zajidan is at sword point. He is affecting a non-challenged manner, but he is very challenged, shall we say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I walk in with the parathas, and then I see this big burly man with his sickle around my father's throat and a sword pointed towards my chest. But I think it's a
Mhm.
small balcony, right? Just one of those you step in, and there's immediately a sword pointed at me, and like 5 guys standing there,
Yes.
crowded up in a very small space. And I kind of look at the sword. I look at Zajidan. I look at the sickle, gleaming gold. I look at this man, and I say, "Is it yes?"
And I think Ramu looks at you and says, "You're the priest, right? I hear you've been in our business."
Yes, and I think I'm looking at this sword and like I don't know. I think it's like on autopilot.
Hmm.
I'm wearing gloves because I guess I just fetched these out of the oven. Uh,
Yeah.
I take the tray and like put it in one arm, and then I take my gloved hand and then I kind of like touch the sword and I kind of shake it like a hand.
Okay. Yeah, please go on.
Like yes, yes, I am, and that's my father. Um, why?
And from next to him, there is someone else with like a quite an impressive mustache. He would be wearing sunglasses if sunglasses existed. And says, "You've been talking to those Stalin revolutionaries."
Well, they keep coming over here every single goddamn time, and like, listen, can you get them to stop coming? Like every single time, someone's like, "There's someone here at the temple," and it's like, what? Yet another Scotland person saying, "I am King Francis or whatever," and I murdered several people. And I've heard that you have a thing of hospitality. Can I hide here?
Ramu looks at you and says, "Oh, you don't like them either, do you? Great. Why don't you just lead us to them and then we'll take care of the problem?"
Uh, I mean, we don't really have any here at the moment, and listen, this balcony is very crowded. My father's not very well. Can we all just come in? Do you like paratha? And then I kind of raise it up, and it's like it's not very good, but you know, have you had breakfast? We can come in. Let's just come inside. And can you please drop my father? Not like drop him off the balcony or anything. It's like, you know what I mean.
You know, I think we're going to have this conversation on my terms. And he looks at two others, a man and a woman, and he says, "Take him out. I'll whistle if I need you." And what is going to happen is that he wants to take your father away as a hostage while he has this conversation with you.
Hmm. Well, if that's how he wants to play it, I think Miraz is just going to say, "Oh yeah, well, I tried being reasonable, but now, well, fuck you." And then I'm going to, I don't know. I think I probably have a few things on me all the time to kind of tinker over
Mhm.
while tinker with while Zajidan tells me about life and so on.
Yep.
So I'm going to drop a smoke grenade.
Casual. Okay.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, do you think what you want here is to shock and disorient them?
Yes, I would like to have the space to rescue Zajidan and run away.
Excellent. Okay. I think you're in a desperate position because they have your father at sword point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you can do this. I think you're at standard effect. Uh, because even though
they are good at that job, you're also good at your job, and you know how to make an effective smoke grenade. So yeah, desperate standard, I think.
I'm assisting even though I'm asleep.
How are you
Do
doing
you know
that?
how I'm assisting? I have my medicine cabinet out here on the balcony. This has been established before. And I think that as you draw up the smoke bomb, they will not suspect anything because this place is littered with weird medicinal shit. So I'm basically providing you with a free distraction because I have left out a bunch of like strange medicines lying about.
Excellent.
And so you putting up a bottle of something will not look out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's more like there's a smoke grenade there. I throw the plate of parathas at it, and it just goes off.
Yeah, makes sense. So it sort of blends in.
Destination by Paratha.
Well, it's the plate, not the parathas. I mean,
Okay.
I have said that the parathas are heavy, but I don't think they're that heavy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want to imagine in this explosion the paratha just splatting into the leader guy's face, like comically, as it blows up.
Yes, excellent. So I'm taking assistance. I would like a devil's bargain if such things are available.
Oh, I mean, like there are so many. Okay, I think you lose track of one of them. One of them takes like as you throw a smoke grenade and you're trying to like escape, like one of them also disappears.
Okay. I have. It's kind of like we can go with that, but another one I want to propose is that Ramu is really big on honor. So, like, regardless of whether or not throwing the paratha in his face and then throwing the plate at a smoke grenade and so on works, he will have a paratha in his face, and he will treat me as his personal rival.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you want him as your personal rival, you can have that. Absolutely.
Well, he threatened my papa. What am I supposed to do?
Say, I'm really sorry. Don't attack my dad. I'll do whatever you want. That's what he was expecting anyway.
Well, I don't know. I mean, let's see. Okay, wreck.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Desperate standard. Bonus die and assist. That's 2 dice extra.
Oh, 6.
3,
Nice.
6, 4.
Well, now he has paratha on his face.
Yeah.
It's an egg paratha, so it's egg on his face too.
Literally egg on his face. Lovely. So as you throw this, the smoke bomb goes off, and they are not unprofessional, so I think that they immediately react, but you were expecting it. You have the drop on them. So are you just like dashing in, grabbing your dad, and dashing out? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah. Yoink!
Yeah, so like, I'm curious, like, what about Miraz now? Because he is this like his roof ball instinct? Like, how is he getting around all these like this thick crowd of people as everyone's coughing and like disoriented?
Oh, everyone's coughing. Ramu's coughing. Ramu briefly just lets him go. I rush in with my breath off, or like maybe I'm kind of semi-immune to this, and I just grab him.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then I think we just start running down the corridors looking for help. I'm happy to cut away.
Your dad is like also coughing, to be clear, and
Yes,
he's
of
not
course.
in the break room. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you want to start some sort of like, I mean, if it'd be one thing if he was still in there coughing as long as that, then we'd start.
Yeah. No, I'm just flagging this because
Yeah.
it
That
could
makes sense.
become relevant. Right now, he's okay, but like, yeah.
Okay.
So are you yelling? Like, what is going on? Like, have people heard you? Like,
I should be yelling.
Yes.
I don't think I am. I think I'm like running. And Rajitan's coughing, so he's not yelling either. So
yeah, but I definitely think Padmapriya and Padmamukhi are around. In fact, let's say that what happens is that as you do this, a door opens, and I mean with a 6, Padmamukhi opens this door, and you can see that it's going somewhere they're not meant to be there. By which I mean it's a different time, and she's like motioning to you as if to be like, just give me your dad, and you can deal with this. And now we can cut away.
yeah, I know why they came out, because now there's a lot of people struggling and swearing and so on in the veranda, which is outside. So of course all the other windows can hear. The monkeys have gotten disturbed now. They're shrieking and shaking the branches of the trees.
Very good. I am not going to check this clock. but I'm going to make a clock, and it is going to be called The Monkeys Intervene, because they are nobody's friend.
Mm-hmm. True wildcard. Okay.
Okay, so where is everybody else?
I think Joan is still in her room. But it's like a room with an open window out over the balcony, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere. So she will have been alerted to this situation now. She will look outside, see that things have probably realize who is here, I imagine. See that like things have gone way further than we probably expected or hoped for, and decide that decisive action needs to be taken. So she goes back to her bedside, opens a drawer, and takes out a gun, and then climbs out of the window.
Casual. Very good. I think down below they are kind of like I don't know how effective is your smoke grenade. Do you think? Like how long is the effect of like the smoke and the coughing and so on gonna last?
Yeah, I think the smoke lingers, but like I was going to say that they're like working class and so on, but like they aren't factory workers. I don't think they're used to like smoke
No.
and so on.
So I think Joan, as you jump out of the window, you see that they are recovering now. So like they've kind of like rolled out of the smoke. They're looking around, and in fact, one or two of them are already kind of like splitting up in different directions, going in after Miraz and Sajidan. Ramu is like kind of barking instructions, I mean, to them.
Yeah, I'm inspired somewhat by a scene from Peaky Blinders, which is funny for Blades, especially a Blades that doesn't take place in Duskwall, where like there is a situation where there are completely overwhelming odds, and they solve it by shooting the leader in the head, and then just like being like, well, there's no reason to fight anymore now, is there? I don't think that will work, but Joan will definitely try.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you doing this while jumping out? Are you like in the air and then firing? Is that what's happening here?
She climbs out of the window, and there's like a 1 centimeter wide windowsill on the other side, and she's gonna balance on that and try to like kind of climb down to get in to like point blank range.
Nice. Okay. So this seems like ambush with close violence because they don't know you were here necessarily. They're about to find out.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say that actually you are only in a risky position. I don't think you're in a desperate position. Which is to say that like there's like harm on the table, there's things that can go wrong, but like Zajidan is like safe, like right now. So
Yes.
So let's say risky standard. Oh no, wait, you want to shoot him in the head and kill him, right?
Yeah, I would like desperate extreme, actually.
Okay, so you want to trade position for effect and then push yourself for effect?
Wait, that's desperate great, desperate extreme. Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Okay, great. I think yes. Let's make clear here that with extreme effect, you can shoot this man in the head, and he will immediately die. I don't think so. I was thinking here, standard effect, you injure him. Great effect, you do level 3 harm, and yes, extreme effect, he's down. He's finished.
I would ask for input from the other players in this moment because
Go
I know
for it.
that Klow just had him as his rival.
I don't know if you can kill him.
I say go for it. I mean, we'll still have to deal with his thugs, and I think this is hella cool. So,
But I did have a question though. So you're using a pistol. Sorry, remind me where you're firing from.
I'm trying to get into point blank range. So I'm trying to climb down to the balcony
Okay.
and get like.
I'm imagining this some sort of like ledge next to the balcony because Joan has this uncanny balance, right? So just
Yeah, that makes sense then. Okay, cool.
I'm trying to like do a matrix dodge this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I was going to say is all of his lieutenants, seconds in command, etc., are extremely loyal to him. They are not the kind to necessarily like fall to pieces just because he's dead. And sure, the rival may be dead, but you may also have like made 5 very powerful enemies, all of whom will want to kill all of you? ? So
Let's see what happens. If it succeeds, though, something to flag: we have not yet seen an on-screen death. We have not seen the bees.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So excellent.
If it happens,
very good.
let's have a moment for it. If it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think this is why it's desperate, is because in order to pull this off, I have to get into point blank range.
I'm not in a position to assist, but I'm wondering if Abbas is, if he's around jogging outside on his morning jog. I don't know if he could distract them or something.
I was thinking at what the best time is to come into it, but I guess yeah. I guess Abbas could be climbing up the same stairs that Miraz did, right? He just sees smoke, and he's expecting Zaldjian to be there. I don't know. I guess Abbas can be just jogging right back up the stairs, and goes, "Hi, are you up there? Did Vickers burn the breakfast again?"
Mm-hmm. Oh, dear.
Klow has a bargain, and so do I. But I want to hear Klow's first.
Okay. Joan has to get really, really close to shoot this guy. So close that regardless of whether or not she succeeds, she will not be able to get out without fighting her way out.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, whatever happens, you will be compelled to take a bite out of him. Because you should struggle with your vice, I think. And there was a cannibal on screen not so long ago.
I think the fight outfit Devil's Bargain is probably already gonna happen. So I will take the second one.
Great, fantastic. And they will obviously see you do this, so you know.
I wonder if Goatfoot gives me a +1. Because it's a balancing action. But also you take 1d to prowl when performing moves that require balance, in parentheses, but not stealth. And I don't know if it means not for things that require stealth.
I feel like in this case it should apply, because this is, it's not that it is stealthy, right? This is, you're coming from an angle that they don't think people can come from. I feel like it's fair.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
And you haven't used this move a lot, so it would be cool to see you use it now. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So you have an assistance, you have a Devil's Bargain, and you have an ability that's 3 dice. So this could go really well for you, actually.
So she climbs out and then gets to a lower row of windows below the balcony and tries to hop between the kind of outer windowsills of those windows to get up to the balcony and shoot the guy.
Yeah. Great, you have 6 dice, I think. So. Oh
and not a 6 inside. 4, 5, 4, 4, 5, 1.
I mean, a 5 is enough to get the effect you want, though. So
yeah. So I think what happens here is that you come screaming down. They don't expect you. You fall. You're right in front of him, and as you pull up your gun and do your dodge this moment, he can't dodge it. But you see someone push him out of the way, and I think you shoot that person straight in the head. And in fact, with extreme effect, what's going to happen is that I think you could even kill 2 of them. So I think what's happened here is that he will remain alive, but you can easily dispatch 2 of his underlings just on instinct, right? They gave up their lives without hesitating for him, and it's going to be gruesome. But I think that because they are so loyal to him and they would rather die than let him live. And I just wrote down in my notes for one of them, will lay his life down for Ramu. That's exactly what's happened. So right now, in fact, 2 of them have gone in the building. Of the 4 that are left, 2 are dead. So there's only 2 of them in front of you now, right?
Mm-hmm. So I think the reason that the Devil's Bargain helped here is that the guns only have 1 charge. So what happens is I shoot 1 and on instinct I bite the other's head off.
Yo, yes! Incredible! Yeah.
Or bite his throat out, because I mean you can unhinge your jaws, but I don't think you can.
No, probably yeah.
Yeah, unless you go monstrous.
I was exaggerating for effect,
Yeah.
I think that what happens is that this happens, but I think that the ones who are left is Ramu and Mona. Yeah, the consequence was that Ramu stayed alive, and I think they are both looking at you what the fuck? But they are the training kicks in, right? So before they go what the fuck? Nonetheless, I think Mona is wielding 2 sickles, and she takes like kind of a ready stance in front of Ramu, and she says, "Get out of here. We can't lose you." And Ramu's like, you can see him thinking, am I really going to bail on this already, or am I going to commit? Right? But like with your extreme effect, I don't think he has the ability to go, "You're right, I'm out." Like he's like too shaken by what he's just seen, and
Mhm.
he can still do something at this moment. But I'm curious, is this enough for Vickers to wake up? Because
I mean, there was a gunshot.
he had the gunshot, and then the screams of a dying man as his
Uh-huh.
throat bleeds out
Yeah.
onto the ground.
Yeah, I was a little confused. What was the consequence here? Because I may have a way to protect.
The consequence here was that you didn't get the leader.
Okay,
Oh,
And like they are going to get absolutely right back at you, right? So like,
Okay.
Mhm.
yeah,
sure. Then I don't think I can protect against this because there's kind of like no way for me to frame a resistance. But I think Vickers will wake up. Yeah, I mean, there was a gunshot. So she snaps awake. And I think there will be a moment where we see her like in her bedroom just blink and be
Mhm.
like, was that something I should take seriously? And then she hears the screaming of the dying man. And
yeah,
like through the haze of her being asleep, she
yeah.
goes like, oh dear, I do suppose something's going down. And she will reach for her fine heavy weapon on the wall, which we have not seen on screen before.
Uh-huh.
And then she will head towards the scene. But I will describe it when I arrive, because I don't think I
Excellent.
can arrive right away.
yeah.
Fair. Okay.
So the leader Ramu's in shock. What he's has he noticed Abbas is here? Like, how does he?
No, he's currently calculating whether him and Mona
Okay.
can kill Joan and then get away, or whether
Uh,
he should just make a break for it. But he's still trying to figure that out.
Just to be clear, this is Mona and not Mona.
Yes, this is true.
Yes.
This is not Munna, the crime boss. This is Mona,
yes.
whose cool name is Darling, because
Oh.
Mona Darling. So you know what? I'm just going to call her Darling from now on.
I was saying, what's Ramu armed with?
Kusari Gama, a sickle tied
Oh,
to
right, he's
a
saying.
counterweight. Yeah.
Okay, so I think Abbas, has got an idea of what's going on. Or I mean, maybe not exactly what's going on, but he can see that the temple is being attacked by ruffians.
I mean,
And
yeah.
I think what I wanted to like try to disarm Ramu from behind, but it's Kusarigama, which is a weapon with a chain. I'm gonna try to sneak up on him and use this weapon to tie his hands behind his back.
Oh my god. Okay. 100% desperate position here. And I
Of
actually think
course.
like limited effect, because I think you can try and take the weapon away from, like, control of the weapon away from him. I don't think you can right now get to standard effect, which is take control of the weapon away from him and then use it against him.
All right, fine. Maybe let's go for trying to get the weapon from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like, because he's absolutely very dangerous, and like
Yeah.
one of the very important lessons to learn is don't lose
Mm.
your grip on your weapon. That's dangerous.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's true. This our trained guy.
yeah.
Okay. Can anyone assist me here?
I think I'll assist by just like shouting, intimidating things, and being as big as making myself as big as possible.
Yeah.
To keep their attention on me.
Yes, good. Just like a snake.
Mhm.
And all right. I think I might make an extra dice here somewhere. Yeah, I can push myself. Yes.
Mhm.
And I've got all right. So all right, let's see.
Ooh, finesse.
Yes.
Oh, actually, finesse. Interesting. 215.
Well, what else
Um,
would it have been?
yeah, I don't know. It could have been skirmish. It could have been a bunch of things. But like, actually, finesse is
Yeah,
very
I mean,
interesting here. But you get a 5, and I think
yeah,
so you succeed here, right?
that's
And the reason I think you succeed is uh, Joan is
mm,
like in front of these two, like
mm,
making herself as big as possible.
mm,
And I think that for a second, he is so like entranced in the way that like you can be by a predator looking at you, that he loses his grip on his weapon. You're able to tear it away from him. But I think the desperate consequence here is Mona sees Joan, knows she is the biggest threat, and you see her um, in the same way as the other two, kind of like not even think about her own personal safety, just go for Joan in this moment. And unlike the earlier moment where Joan was doing something, in this moment, I think you're only threatening, right? So Mona's just going to like stab you probably in the chest with one of the sickles. And I think you're going to take level 3 harm here, which is like, you've been stabbed through the chest. But,
That seems reasonable.
yeah. And you
I'll
see this,
resist
by
it.
the way, Abbas. You definitely see this happening as you yank the weapon away. But yeah,
Yeah, I would be resisting that.
yes,
Yeah.
you should do this. Correct.
Perhaps resist.
Yeah.
Trying to grab the weapon
Mm-hmm.
and stop it from going all the way into the chest.
5.
Okay.
Okay, so that's only one stress, a 5 and a 3.
Mhm.
So are you just like ducking out of the way, or like is this like more quick movements? Like how is it?
I imagine that she sees the weapon coming, she has nothing, so she's trying to
Yeah.
hold it with her bare hands, and
Yeah.
then like cuts her hands up and like adjusts a little bit, but it doesn't all the way go in.
Yeah, fair. So like actually now your hands are quite badly cut up, right? And I feel like in that case you have dropped your pistol.
Yeah,
Okay, makes sense.
that was useless anyway.
Yeah. And I think we'll cut away here, but both of you are still in like quite a bad position because both these people are like fighting for their lives and good at doing this. But like you have also like managed something. I think because what has happened is maybe you see this from a different like angle or like down a different corridor or whatever, but you see Miraz running down this corridor with his father. You see a door open that wasn't there a second ago, or maybe it was. And Padma Priya is trying to like convince Miraz to like just hand Zajudan over to her.
And there are 2 thugs coming after Miraz, right?
Yes, correct. One of them is barehanded, but the other one is also wielding a kusarigama.
Yeah, I suppose I'll have Vickers enter here.
Mm-hmm.
As Miraz is in the middle of this, like these two guys run down the corridor. It's this like dark temple, kind of confusing and scary, right?
Yep.
And then they will hear a rattling, like a grating of metal on stone.
Nice.
As Vickers moves through one of the corridors, and one of them will turn, and they will see this horrifying apparition of a woman illuminated faintly by a candle in her one hand, with like her long red hair hanging down to obscure her face, stepping like a zombie because she's still very tired in this creepy Victorian nightgown, dragging an enormous temple polearm behind her. And
this is so Elden Ring.
yes, and in this moment, echoing through the corridor, they hear, "How was it? Here comes a candle to light you to bed. Here comes the chopper to chop off your head."
Excellent. Very good. Yeah, you can do this. Great.
Yes, I'm going to scare the shit out of them because I look like some ungodly apparition at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can do this. In fact, I think like the way you described it, you will have great effect here, which is that you can affect both of them. I think standard effect, you would only have frightened one of them, but with great, both of them are going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
What are you rolling? Is it command?
Yeah, it's command. I'm trying to scare them.
Okay,
Makes
remember we
sense.
have Sanctuary, which means we get +1 dice to command in our temple.
Oh my god.
Okay, fantastic.
Wow, incredible. And I think you're in a desperate position because it's possible one of them has a fear response, which is just anger and like attacking you back. So we'll see.
Okay. I will. I think I will push myself. Yeah,
Great.
I think I will.
For a die or
For a dice, I already have.
Yeah,
I don't think extreme effect like makes sense here.
No,
so
but yeah.
I'm already at desperate great.
Yeah.
So desperate great command with 2 bonus dice, and I roll a crit. So I get greater than crit.
So you tell me, what does this like extreme effect here look like? Like, what is the image that is forever going to be seared into these people's brains. And maybe, they're truly going to lose their brains, but for now.
Yeah. So I think what happens is that Vickers hefts up this blade, and up until this moment, they've just been like, "What the fuck is this? Right? This is very weird." And then she will raise her head, and there is like Vickers was originally just like, "There are ruffians. I'm going to scare them away." But I think what happens in this moment is that she realizes that they are threatening Miraz with a deadly weapon, and they will see the expression in Vickers' face when someone does this, and it's just the eyes. Like in this moment, it's not the creepy nightgown, it's not the hair, it's not the heavy weapon, it's just her eyes.
Yeah. Very good. And I think what you see is, and Miraz, you see this like an avenging angel. She turns up, and the one with the bare hands goes, "Oh fuck this," and grabs like her friend and just legs it in the other direction, but like has the kind of presence of mind to go, like I can't abandon my friends, but also it would be terrible if I left anybody to this, right? So he's just like, but with extreme effect, probably instead of going outside, is running deeper into the temple, which much better than them. Like they're getting away from you, but
Here's the Home Alone part, I think, where Vickers looks after them and goes like, "Miraz, I think they're going towards your laboratory."
Well, I suppose that they are. And then Miraz thinks for a moment, and then he kind of gives a sad kind of smile and says, "I haven't disabled the mechanisms I put in there to stop Uncle Abbas wandering in and trying to, I don't know, tidy up the place."
And what are those mechanisms exactly?
Well, you see, one of them involves fire oil, which I have positioned to set fire to his beard.
Okay.
So you're really leading into this idea. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you don't have a beard to take up the fire roll, and you just have a
your
face.
Yes.
Yes.
That's bad. Yeah. So I think I don't think we see this on screen. We definitely hear more screaming.
They don't see it either.
Yeah.
Because when I wreck, it's very quiet. So like they just open the door and they don't see the mechanism at all.
Excellent. Yes. And Sajidan's on the floor coughing, and Padma Priya like kind of looks around and says, "Do you want to give me your father so we can make sure we're out of your way?" And then like almost as if there isn't like screaming happening in the background, she says, "Seems like we have some very unruly guests."
Yes, we do. I want. Where's Uncle Abbas? Where's Joan? Do you think they're in danger?
And Padma Priya, no, I think Zajidan says, Abbas went, oh, he went for a run. He would have been right outside the balcony. I hope he hasn't gotten himself into trouble.
Oh, of course he has. He's an idiot. All right, let's go over there and rescue them.
Wait, none of these had a gun? Oh no. Because she woke up by a gunshot.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know who has a gun. Last time we went inside the temple, I told Uncle Abbas to pack a gun, but I don't think he takes a gun when he runs out.
Uh-huh.
Do you? Abbas, is that what you do?
I don't think Abbas takes a gun in at all. Anywhere.
Yeah.
I think we're heading for the balcony at this point.
Perfect. I think that there is a buzzing, Joan, and I don't know if you have heard it before, but Abbas definitely has. And it is the imminent arrival of the bees that make their homes in the corpses of Uduasha. And they are very different to, I don't know if they have bees in Duskwall, but the bees in Uduasha, I think they are black and golden. And in the background, I think the camera sees Daddy Danda, who who is the Rakshasa whose beat is this part of Udaipur, kind of look up as he hears it impossibly from like a very long way away, and just mutters to himself, "Oh, that's trouble today, huh?" But she's not here yet, and neither are the bees, but they're about to be. Instead, now, Joan, you have cut up hands. You have this woman who is going to try and gut you, and I think Ramu has decided that he's not going to back down. So he's disarmed, but he's looking at Abbas like, I'm still going to be able to like break your face. And that is, I think, like the moment you're at now. Like, sure, you've killed two of us, but the screaming on the inside, I think it's my friends. I think it's your friends.
Can we join them now?
Yes.
Okay. Then I want to. So I want to do a flashback real quick.
Okay.
So we're doing this on our turf, which means we get it's our hunting grounds, so we get a
Yes.
extra thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get like a free acquire asset if I remember correctly.
No, we get a free downtime action of any
So you
sort.
get a free downtime action. Okay, yeah.
I'm going to use it to modify an item, not invent, but like
Mhm.
just take a normal item and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a pistol and make it into a pistol that fires 3 bullets at once in a spread.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
A duckfoot pistol, yeah? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. I mean, this seems
Duckfoot.
like you literally have a workshop. You can have worked on it easily. I don't think this costs you any stress. I think this is just about like rolling to see how good this pistol is for you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to. I called it a downtime action. Sorry, I called it a splashback. It's not really.
Yeah. I mean, like it's a flashback in that it has happened in the past. We're only seeing that now, but I don't think it has any stress cost.
Yeah. So when they modify, it's just a tinker roll, if I remember correctly, and then we. I think. So Zaljitan is an artificer. I think that basically means that the Sparkcraft stuff I know how to do, but like this is his forte, like fine mechanisms.
Yeah.
So I think I took a die for him, like sitting down and like
Sure,
and
yeah.
you're like,
I mean,
okay, we got into some sort of trouble, and I don't know, just in case, Baba.
Okay.
That sort of
I
thing.
think like he's gonna have it. Like it's not gonna be now, but I'm interested in how he feels about violence. But we don't have to find that out now. But yeah.
Cool. So I got a 5, which means it's a
equal
So
to
it means +1 because of workshop.
Yes. Okay. So I think that means that like tier 2 means that it works, right? Like I don't know anything about the mechanisms of like the firing mechanisms of pistols. So
It's a fine duckfoot pistol.
yeah.
Okay.
I think historically there were actually pistols that had a hammer for each barrel, so they could all be fired at the same time.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's basically that. I throw it to Vickers. Actually, no, Vickers has got a perfectly cool weapon of her own. I don't want to take that away. I'm going to rush in with my fine duckfoot. Okay, everyone, get the fuck out of my temple right now! And then I kind of just wave it around.
You're running up on the balcony, waving around your pistol. Okay.
Excellent.
But yeah, someone else can do something first.
Well, I'm going to invoke reflexes when one of these people do something, but I don't think Vickers is just gonna like
barrel through.
All right, then I just shoot into the massive bodies, which includes Abbas and Joan. Yeah, but not my friends; they're my family. So, which is a different thing. I don't care. So you can shoot your family. You can shoot your friends.
That is what.
Okay, no. Now I'm using reflexes to intervene. Like, if I see you about to fire this thing on Uncle Abbas, I will judge that an unwise decision.
Excellent. So let's say that, like, I mean, obviously you're in a desperate position, but if we think of this as Vickers using her reflexes to assist, that
No, I'm not assisting. I'm using my reflexes to do something before. My whole point was I have reflexes. I'm waiting for someone to do something stupid.
Yes.
I expected that to be the opposition, but then it's Mirage. Now I'm acting first.
Okay. So you want to get in there and grab Abbas out of the melee?
I would, Except that he is in like this fist fight with Ramu, right? And he's holding the weapon,
Yes.
and there's deadly weapons going. Yeah, no, I do. I think the only thing I can, which is like I'm running up some stairs. Vickers is fast, but like I can't outrun a bullet. I can't do
No.
this faster than like Miraz can raise the pistol.
Yeah.
So I throw the halberd. Like this gigantic polearm just gets hurled like a javelin
Okay.
at Ramu.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
I mean, Ramu is one of the people that Miraz is about to shoot. He is threatening Abbas with violence. I know that the other woman has already harmed Joan, but I think it's cooler if this goes for
Sure.
Ramu. So let's
Yeah.
just say that I see him and I don't see Mona.
You want
So-
to do a group action skirmish?
Yeah, I guess so. Yes,
Okay. Cool.
I think this is more of a wreck, actually.
Oh, I mean, I'm always down for a wreck.
Yeah. I mean, this is breach defenses with force, savage force, or carefully applied sabotage. I'm throwing a huge, heavy, like brass polearm, and let me describe how this looks for a second, because this actually belongs to the temple. This is not something that Vickers brought with her, and so obviously what this is a brass polearm that is elaborately formed in the shape of a cobra with like a snake's head.
Nice.
Excellent. Very good.
As the huge heavy head. And so like as Abbas is in this pickle, a giant metal snake will fly out of nowhere and hit Ramu if this goes well.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Desperate position once more. But you can definitely do this. But as I described before, with standard effect, you will injure him. With great effect, you will injure him badly. With extreme effect, you will kill him. So I think you're at standard effect now.
Sounds good. Group action. This probably doesn't matter for position and effect, but so I have Saboteur, which means every time I wreck, the damage is much quieter than it should be. So what this means in this moment is that even though 3 gunshots are about to fire at the same time, the gun is also swaddled with like cotton and so on to kind of like keep it quiet.
Right.
Yeah, not
Sure.
Not that I expect that to matter, but you know, I thought why not?
Yeah.
Desperate standard.
Desperate standard, I will invoke Battleborn to push myself on an action in combat, and when I push myself, I have the Tiger's Fury. Push violently against your enemies, knocking them back down or over. So,
Very good.
even if he isn't hurt by this, he's going to be hit by a lot of metal and knocked away from Abbas.
100%. Okay. Yeah.
I get that for free.
Yes.
Abbas also gets knocked away from the gunshots. So it all works out.
exactly.
It all works out. It's totally fine. This is what a good, well-made plan looks like, guys.
Uh-huh.
Great.
And
Okay.
we didn't even have to roll engagement.
Yeah, you didn't. Sounds good.
I'm going to push myself.
Yeah.
For
And I
extra
guess
dice.
your Vickers is bleeding, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I am.
Miraz rolls
So,
a 6,
Miraz rolls a 6 and I roll a 5, so
Yeah.
we take no extra stress.
and this works perfectly. Yeah. So I think that like you see Ramu for a second like instinctively reach for a weapon that isn't there, and that is the moment that this halberd hits him in the shoulder and just like knocks him down, right? You see in the same like kind of motion that as he's falling, Abbas is also knocked away, but like he's not knocked away and injured. He's just like there's a lot going on, right?
I think what happens probably is that Ramu was like reaching for him to grab him or something, and then he just kind of like pulls Abbas down as he is struck.
Yeah,
So like brought out of danger of the gunshot.
yeah. But as this happens, I think Mona, who is currently struggling with Joan, sees this and lets out like kind of like a cry of fury, and is going to try and stab Joan again, so that she can try and defend her boss. But like right now, her weapon is stuck in Joan's hands, right? So like she can't just pull it out without. So she's going to try and pull it out, do some damage to you, and then like go to defend her boss, unless you do something.
I mean, if she's gonna try and pull her weapon out of my hands, then I will do something.
Yes.
So would that be a resist?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
or is it something that's happening?
I think it's something that's happening. Sorry, I don't think it's a resist. I think the only person
Okay.
you are fighting whom you would have to resist to act against if he was doing something is Ramu. I think the rest of them are dangerous, but not like at an expert level.
Oh yeah, also they rolled a 6, so there's no consequence.
Yeah.
Anyway, she tries to pull her like weapon away, and I think I am gonna use monstrous.
Nice.
And I'm gonna hold it, and we're gonna like be fighting over the weapon, and like it can seem like a fight that's not really going anywhere, and then Joan's neck is going to become a lot longer and lash out like a snake and latch on to her face.
Great. Yeah. What is very funny, by the way, is that like everyone else's successes make Joan's positions generally better, and then Joan does things like this with those better positions. You're in a risky position, and I think with monstrous, you're having great effect even before like the effect of the push, because nobody really expects someone to try and bite that face off, even after they just saw that happen, because like it takes a second, you know. So yeah, risky great at the moment, I think.
Risky great, gonna keep it that way. I have -1 die and +1 die from push, so it evens out the 2 dice. Skirmish. I think it's probably reasonable to just stay with that.
Yeah.
And it's a 6.
Ooh, a 6 and a 1, so you managed this. Yeah, because like I think Ramu's friends need extreme effect. I think great effect like this works, right? So now everyone sees this. Everyone sees Joan briefly channel a snake, open her mouth, unhinge her jaw, and literally rip this woman's face off. Is that what's happening?
I guess she is losing face, huh?
Oh my god!
Oh god.
So are you aiming to kill here or just horribly maim? Is my question.
Oh no, only to maim and horribly injured.
Okay.
Well, I mean that's what happens then, I guess. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this became a little bit brutal than I thought it was going to be, but oh well.
Well, you know, I think probably what happens here is that you see Joan's jaw like open up, and it's already bloody from the throat that you've ripped, right? And your fangs,
Oh yes.
your incisors, which look fang-like now, and the blood dripping down your jaw, which makes you, in your own way, as terrifying as Vickers just looked when she was carrying the halberd in her disheveled state. You clamp down on this woman's face, and actually the scream that is about to come out almost dies, because she faints just out of sheer like terror and falls to the ground. And you see Ramu, who is now also on the ground, trying to get back up, looking around her. And I think he's come to terms with it. I think he thinks to himself, okay, I guess I'm dying here, but I'm not going to leave. And he stands up and takes like a position of like, who's going to come at me? And maybe he even says that. He's like, which one of you fuckers wants to die?
I think Mira's first priority is to resist not vomiting.
Seems reasonable. Three
probably fair.
stressed not to vomit. Is a 3 and 2, 1 and a 2.
Oh shit.
I mean, we all have that cousin, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Vickers has iron will, but I also think it's funnier in this situation if she doesn't see it, because she's still down the stairs. Like we established, she couldn't see the scene perfectly.
Yep.
Just through the thing because
Yeah, absolutely.
Miras was raising a weapon. So
Yeah.
I don't think she knows what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, so I try not to vomit, and I'm just going to look down at my gun and start putting 3 bullets back in. 4 bullets, actually.
What's the boss doing?
Which takes a while.
So I got knocked away from the halberd thing.
Yeah.
But you get back up again.
Yes, I've gone back up again. I think I'm trying to make my way to, because I was on the other side of Miraz and Vickers, and I don't know if I need to do anything or if I can just just duck under the.
I can't think of anything funnier than this guy saying, "Which one of you bastards is going to take me on Enersub bus?"
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that what's happening? Because like, if you move, that's what he'll assume is happening.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not trying to do it, but I'm okay with him assuming that, like, I'm trying to get away. But if if he misinterprets
He
my
thinks
movement into thinking I'm challenging him,
he thinks
yeah.
you think he's so pathetic that the old man who has admittedly disarmed him is gonna be the one, right? But as previously discussed, he's the expert, and I think you will have to resist him. I mean, he's not got his weapon on him, so he's not going to just like cut your throat. But suddenly, you'll have to resist him not breaking your head or like your leg.
Okay, I want to protect in this moment.
Okay.
If I may.
Yeah.
And it's not actually me protecting, but I have my cohort. So like
Excellent.
he goes to Bass and is like, I'll take this old man, and then he hears like, ho ho ho, your challenger will be me, Augustus Khan. He will be extremely distracted.
Listen, there is no room on this balcony for all these people.
No, but he's on a roof. He's a roof ball player.
Yes.
So he will dramatically appear on a nearby roof. His
Does he-
cape
Does he-
flowing in the wind.
Yes.
Does he throw down his roof ball then?
Yes. Yes, I think he throws the roof ball down dramatically and just kind of bounces it off of something.
Amazing. Okay.
And I'm just protecting Abbas, right? I'm not saying Augustus will take this hit,
Yeah.
but this is definitely distracting.
Yes.
So-
Okay. So let's say that I will roll your cohort, or you should roll your cohort rather, and let's see like how good this distraction is. But I think the distraction works.
Okay, sure. So I'll just roll them with no bonus. They just have one die.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
4.
Yeah,
Not terrible. Yeah.
I think with a 4, you distract him, but I think you see him. Like what you've done is kind of taken the initiative away from him. So Abbas can definitely like zip away, but you haven't like stopped him from being able to do what he wants to do. So I think so. As the roof ball falls towards him, you see him kind of like out of the corner of his eye, see it. He reaches out, grabs it, and then like throws it probably at you. But like you can like catch it. That's not a problem. But he knows he's lost his moment to like attack the old man, and he says, "A weak attempt." Is that it? Is that all you've got?
Yeah, I think Augustus Khan looks very.
Yeah, is that all you've got? He's surrounded by the corpses of his friends. 2 of them are inside. Their faces like on fire. I mean,
I think what happens is he like issues this challenge to Augustus Khan, and then 2 things happens. One, Augustus is very disappointed that his cool ball throw didn't hit because he was aiming for this guy, but he missed. And second, he sees the corpses, and then he will be terrified. Like,
in fact, Augustus Khan does not resist; he just vomits because it's a gory scene.
Yeah. I mean, he was a thug, right? But he was more the beating people up with your fists thing, not blowing up their heads kind of thug.
Yes,
so,
correct.
And then he starts swearing like Morrison.
Yeah.
No. I don't think. I think like Augustus has been practicing his behavior. So he's not. He won't swear like Morrison. He will swear like Augustus Khan. Sacre bleu! 10,000 thundering typhoons! Yeah, I don't know why he became...
Exactly, he swears like Captain Haddock for some reason.
I don't know why, but he is, you're right, yeah. Billions of blue blistering barnacles! Yeah.
Alright, I think Abbas could run away, but if Ramu is sufficiently distracted, I will bonk him on the head with his Kusarigama instead.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think that you are still in a desperate position because he's very dangerous, but you can do this. And I think now you are like, if we conceptualize the earlier standard effect as like 2 ticks on a 4 clock, this is the other 2 ticks, right? So with this, you will have him at your mercy, he will fall. So yeah, you're at desperate standard, I think.
All right, and I'm gonna need some kind of assistance here because I have no points in prowl. So
I have one for you. I have one for you. I said, Argal, pick up that one. Pick up the little red pot. Not that one. The one next to the pickles. While you were down there, it's called Fire Potion.
Oh my
There's what
god!
potion?
Skullfire potion.
Oh.
Right.
Hmm.
So the kind that gives you horrible migraines. If it's like, yeah, you crack him on the head with that, it's
Yeah.
You
it's not
crack
the
it.
cracking that does it; it's the poison.
Yep.
Do it with both, you know?
Yeah.
So Abbas has been talking a lot about his revolutionary past,
Hmm.
but this is the first time in years that he's like actually engaged with violence again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether or not they come for him because they hear about it, or like he gets an epiphany, or maybe it's just like or something more metaphysical, like his youth.
Mm-hmm.
He has to like kind of relive his youth or something. Like
Okay.
fate just kind of
I
twists
have
around.
I have a more concrete spin on that, if I may spin on that further.
Yeah.
Ramu is a young, strapping Iruvian man who's like fighting for a cause and whatnot. I think the straightforward thing is like Ramu reminds you of one of your very good friends who died young.
Oh, nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like he just looks like him a lot, and
Yeah.
that evokes feelings.
And it's not even just
Yeah,
he
you
looks
have to-
like him, it's the attitude of never say die. It's the
Yeah,
you are now the people who killed your friend in this story.
Is there like a concrete? What's the actual
What I
like,
was
By
going
the
to
way,
suggest.
tangible effect here
Hmm.
of this?
What I was
Like-
going to say is that
Oh.
because the wheel turns again, you have to kind of like get back in touch with the revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I was gonna do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, now you have to.
Yeah. I think
yeah, devil's bargain of feeling guilted into
Yeah.
resuming.
nice.
Okay.
4, 5, and a 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that so what does this look like? Because are you hitting him with the sharp end or the blunt end? Do you want to kill him or are you just like knocking him out?
Okay, you tell me because I think what Abbas is gonna do is he's gonna just kick he's gonna kick Ramu to create some distance and then swing the Kusarigama at him.
Right.
Like this is a weapon that Abbas is familiar with, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a thing on a chain. He just swings it at him because he's just trying to keep his family alive.
But yeah. So I think actually the straightforward desperate consequence here is that whether or not you're meant to, you definitely kill him.
Mhm.
And I think that he does not die clean, right? It's like you just like his friend had, the throat torn open and was like gurgling to death or whatever. You see the light fade from his eyes, like as he realizes, oh, that's it, right? And that's the moment that you look at him and you think of your friend because you left your friend, you had to run away, but none of Ramu's friends left him. They stuck around, right? And I think that even as he dies, you see that he at least seems to be, he recognizes that he died with the people around him and they lived as they died by the sword. And I think as you see this, the buzzing that's been steadily growing louder, and like you've also been hearing the monkeys, but like they did not approach mostly because someone turned into a snake and ate a face. But that is not like the bees don't give a shit about this. So tell me, do you think it's like a swarm? Do you think it's like a locust swarm? Or is it more like they come from different directions but congregate here?
Oh, I think it's more terrifying if they come from different directions.
Yeah.
They're just suddenly there.
Yeah.
Kind of your feet.
Like it's not one hive of bees. Like they're just
Absolutely.
Yeah, they just kind of descend out of the tropical warm air, right? Just insects coming from all over and suddenly like swarm over the body.
Yeah. I have a very visceral fear of bees in that like when I hear the buzzing immediately I go, oh! So I think that like that's definitely people around who they put around your temple who are feeling that visceral fear of like, oh shit. I hate this. I just wanna like hide under a blanket and hope that this thing just doesn't come in, right? And everybody knows what it is.
All right. So to clarify, what's the desperate consequence exactly? Is it just of us feeling guilty, or like is the consequence we're saying something has happened?
Yeah, the consequence was that like
Okay.
you bopped him on the head, and it wasn't that like he fell to the floor bonelessly and he's still alive. The consequence is he died a gruesome death, and you have to live with it.
I have a way we can concretely turn this into a consequence
Mhm.
that can be resisted if you want, which I think is more heat. Because, like, Abbas has committed, like, he's viciously killed a guy, and that's
Yeah.
the kind of thing that draws attention. But I think it's even more heat because, it's Abbas. We saw the wheel turn. So I think, like, elsewhere in the city, we see people connect the dots and go, like, oh shit, the revolutionary snake is back.
Oh man,
And
very good.
we get more heat.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I almost don't want to resist this because. Okay, I won't.
Great.
Okay, we just get a ton of heat.
Yeah.
Because it's cool.
I mean,
The Viper is active again. The Viper is active.
Exactly.
Like the idea of like a shiver going through the city as like certain people in the underground are like, it's happening. Like, like
The Viper's back. Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly what it is. It is that Tripadna's meeting another one of your old friends, and we see them have a conversation, and I think like the other friend is like, oh, he's back. And Tripadna's like, no, I saw him last week, he was fine. And like the friend is like, no. Yeah, he's back.
Nice. Okay. So if it's heat as a consequence or desperate, 3 heat?
Yeah, I feel like desperate, it should be 3, no?
Does anyone want to resist this?
Maybe I can resist this, actually. And the way I'm resisting is not, like, I'm not negating this whole, like, shiver runs through the city and, like, certain people pick up that the Viper is back. But I think I can limit the heat in how much attention is paid to this. And it is because Vickers is snapping to attention. So I will frame my resistance roll with a resolve. And the reason for that is that she will rush up onto the balcony, and like Augustus is useless, but I have other team members, so there will be a quick command of like, well, come on, make sure everyone's all right. And I will lean down with like the injured woman, and 1, keep her alive, and 2, have my roof ball team like evacuate the area, right? Because there's deadly violence about who knows what's going on, which means that there are fewer witnesses.
Nice.
So like this, the people who know will know, but there will be fewer just like random bystanders seeing the horrible carnage that has unfolded here because we need to spare them.
Yeah.
That's sort of Vickers' motivation, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So 1 heat instead?
Yeah, 1 heat. Yeah. And I think we see, as this is happening, one of the roof pool team, maybe Socks, like, comes across Daddy Danda and he's like, oh, you must go away. And Daddy Danda's like, oh, come on, kid. You know.
Yeah.
And Socks just like catches himself being like, oh wait, of course, this is Rakshasa. I mean, what am I doing? But like there's that like little moment of like, we know that they are approaching, right?
Yeah. But Vickers is concerned for the neighbors, and no one should have to see this who doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Question: does Joan observing the ultimate eaters in Uduasha, like things that like all life is consumed by, does she watch this in fascination and learn something?
Yeah. I think what she does is she kind of like looks at them and tilts her head. And because these are both like the ultimate eaters, but also related to her obsession with golems, she is going to take a glass that was still standing on the table and try to catch one.
Ooh.
Why
don't you roll a fortune roll? I don't think there's any risk here, but I wonder whether like you succeed or fail.
I think there might be risk actually, because it's a hive, right? It's a hive. It's a hive. It's a sacred hive. There might be some sort of intelligence there, and they may not appreciate this.
Sure.
I mean, there's still bees, right? Attacking a bee swarm is not generally a great idea, even if it's to just catch one bee.
Yeah. Sure. Let's say it's risky standard.
All right.
Yeah, in real life you can capture a bee just fine.
Yeah.
But I think these are special bees.
Special bees, yeah.
These are worse.
Yeah. What do you reckon you're doing? It could be hunt actually. I think hunt, finesse, prowl.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Yeah, I was thinking hunt or finesse, but I don't. I would have a -1 die if I finesse.
Oh, okay.
That's probably not a good idea.
Hunt seems good then.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to assist you once more.
In capturing these?
Yes, and this time I'm going to blunder forward and accidentally step on my other smoke grenade. This will make the bees drowsy.
Okay, because I'm so curious, do you notice that like your husband is about to step on another smoke grenade? Do you even notice that it is
I mean,
smoke
it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, ordinarily I would, but I don't want to interrupt
No,
his
fair.
like PC action.
Yeah.
So one, Miraz will be fine. He knows his chemicals.
Yeah.
That's an area where I can trust him. And two, Miraz is actually Vickers is actually busy trying to save Mona's life
Fair.
because like she isn't dead.
He's not dead.
She's just injured. Yeah. So I'm doing whatever like first aid I know, which isn't a lot, but you know.
Smoke out the bees.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Stepping on this smoke grenade should, aside from giving a dice, like maybe even let you capture more.
Yeah.
It's probably still standard effect
Yeah.
because I don't think having more than one bee necessarily makes this great effect. But
I mean, like you could have 3 or 4. I think basically in my mind the great effect would be like I captured a queen bee, but you can have like a few.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we can capture queen bees.
No.
They're probably like that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Probably all things. All right. So 2 dice. Hunt.
A 4 and a 5.
5.
I think I want to establish now about the corpse bees. I don't think anyone has ever seen the queens.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Like not even the Rakshasa know, really.
I will say that if for whatever reason we decide to capture a queen bee, that would be an excellent heist. That would be an excellent score.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think actually the risky consequence here is that Daddy Danda sees you, and this is a the Rakshasas like do not. You should not interfere with the bees. They know this. They make sure everybody else knows this, and he knows you personally. So when he sees you do this, it's not like he's going to immediately come and like eat you or whatever. It's not a desperate consequence, but he's definitely noticed, and he's going to do something about it, probably during downtime after the score.
So, question here again. I'm sorry to keep on going on about this, but I'm like really interested in the bees.
Yeah.
It's the first time seeing them.
Yeah.
The fact that he's just kind of like notes this down and like doesn't get mad or anything, so I guess that establishes that they look after the bees, they take care of the hives, they kind of feed things to them and so on. But they don't. The hives aren't theirs. The bees aren't theirs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm.
They're just people who.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think that
symbiotic.
I think the way that I'm thinking about this is that it's kind of like a relationship that they have with the bees, but it's not like ownership, right? And so probably it is the case that they have. It's not like how do I put this? The god has not passed a religious edict that you must take care of the bees, for example, right? This is more something that the people who practice the religion, the Rakshasas themselves, have agreed is very important to do, right? So you have kind of messed with more of a cultural tradition than a religious tradition, even though we know that, like, that boundary is very fuzzy and may not exist as such, right?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and I think, in fact, he sees this, but he also this is the moment that he turns up, right? And he's got his lizard riding on his shoulder. He's turned up on this cart that is actually completely empty, and he's not on the balcony or anything. He's actually I guess no, maybe the cart is down, and he's like turned up on the balcony, and he says, "Arere, what is going on here? All of you, murder is bad, huh?"
They started it, and I said, vaguely pointing at the bee-shaped outline of Ramu's corpse.
Yeah, I think Vickers shouts back like, "Well, whoever's already dead, you deal with them. Someone get me a doctor."
Cough, 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 cough. Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Miraz grounded for being a naughty
Yeah.
boy?
I think Daddy Danda looks at Mona and says, "Ugh," and then looks at Joan, and he's like, "Are you okay? Like, it's not pretty, dude. Like, that's." Eesh.
Oh, you should talk.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, and I think,
He does the best he can with what God gave him.
and let's be clear, his God has given him many things. Um,
Yes.
and then he turns around and he says, "And you got a couple of people inside also? You people are really. I thought this was some kind of temple of
Uh-huh.
peace."
Did the people who run into the lab
No,
die? Are we establishing
I
that
don't
now? Like,
think they. Maybe one of them.
They're not having a great
They're
time.
not having a great time.
they're not having a
I-
great time, but they're not
Yeah.
dead. Yeah.
I like
Fair
the
enough.
idea that Miraz like put down lethal, almost lethal trip points to keep his uncle
Yes.
from
Yeah.
staying.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I think they are being saved probably by. I imagine it's like the first were just traps, and then they got into the lab and just bumbled their way into all the dangerous stuff that
Yes.
Miraz keeps in there. Like the reason that the door is trapped is that if anyone enters the lab and doesn't know what they're doing, they're in much greater
Yeah.
danger. So
Mhm. I rolled a fortune to see how they're doing. It's a 4,
So yeah, I mean,
so
they're not well, but they're not
not great.
dead. Yeah.
I want to just cut to them being like, one of them has been set on fire, one of them is like covered in itching powder or something, and then Padma and Padma Priya and their helpers just turn up and go like, well, you've been very naughty, haven't you?
Yeah.
One of them is like glued to the floor somehow
Yeah.
with binding
Yeah.
oil.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think our two very stern old ladies will take care of them.
Excellent. Yeah.
Like, both treat their wounds, but also arrest them. So
Yeah. And I think Danda will just say, "Okay, let's get them in the cart. You want some doctor or something?"
Yes, but not for us.
Vickers absolutely goes like, well, yes, I do, and I think we have established that she is pretty effective with the team.
Sure.
So I think Sox is our fastest runner, so she probably didn't stop that
Yeah.
Danda. She probably went to fetch a
Yes,
doctor.
fair. And I think like this is
So-
probably the end of the score, but I do think that like we see, unlike the thing that like when Joan was trying to capture them, like she had to be careful. You see the bees are very like natural around the Rakshasas, so they're just kind of like flying around him. He seems completely unperturbed, even though he's not covered in anything. He's not like wearing like the kind of beekeeper's outfit that we see in our world. And they have no problem with him, like picking up the corpses, brushing them very like gently aside as he's like, trying to position them correctly and so on. But I also think actually what's happening is that he's not moving them to prevent the bees. He's moving them so the bees can do what they need to do more effectively.
I think a cool detail I want to add here, just because I pictured it, is I don't think the bees ever touch anyone living
Right.
except the Rakshasas.
Yes, that's
So
so
like
cool.
when he steps into the swarm, they will actually like land on
Yeah.
him, crawl on him, rest in his hair and beard or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's very weird because they never touch anyone else who is alive.
Oh, they also touch the Rakshasas as animal companions. Yeah.
Now, suddenly I feel quite bad for the ones that Joan captured. I don't think they like being handled at all.
Well, I mean, no, but such is life. And also,
Yeah.
like, we're going to find out. But yeah, I think that we kind of like end on this like particularly gruesome scene on this balcony. There's kind of blood everywhere. And I think that the kind of like post credits scene of like this is where a TV show. I feel like this is where the cliffhanger would end, but the end credits thing is we see Hardil have a conversation with someone, right? Probably one of the Kethrysi who was, somewhat influential, but now that all of the top, rising moon folk are dead, they're in charge, and he's impressing upon them how important it is that they do what he says, lest what happened to Ramu and his friend before, And didn't you hear that like one of them got her face like bitten off?
I love how Hardil goes like, yeah, you better do as we say or we send these priests after
Yeah,
you to fuck you
exactly.
up. Like,
Yeah, and I definitely think that like the way that like Hardil and Munna are positioning you is that they're realizing that like so long as you don't think you are working for them, you are very effective. All they need to do is continue this farce of like pro bono, but like wow, you completely solved that Kethrysi problem, no problem. Like excellent and like very effectively too. And if they take credit for it, it means people are more afraid of them as well.
Hmm. I would want to close on the image of Miraz with a bucket and his gloves and like a mask, cleaning off the blood with alkahest.
and so blows out our brief candle. I named the disciples of the Ceaseless Temple thus, with both their given names and taken. Soumithri, called Tree. Zoheb, called Klow. Prince, Emma, and Aadiyat, called Soap. Intro music, Jalandhar by Kevin MacLeod. Outro music in Kiravani Ragam by Srinivas. Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions. Iruvian playbooks by Johnstone Metzger. Follow us at Desperate Attune on Twitter or email us at desperateattune@gmail.com. Support us at kofi.com/desperateattune.
On the next episode of Desperate Attune.
I feel vertigo. Like when you're about to get close to an edge or like a dangerous insect, venomous. There's the feeling that you're about to go somewhere dangerous.
And I think she says, back in Duskwall there is I have a friend who runs, he runs a gang. He's like also an empty vessel disciple, but he's got his own practice. And something that he does, which I always found amazing, was that he climbs these very tall towers and then falls off. And he's secured only with a rope. And he just falls. And when I asked him about it, he said exactly what you're saying. Sometimes you want to look at that edge, know you're about to do something very dangerous, and then think to yourself, that's why I'm doing it.
And do I have a rope?
I think she is presumptuous enough to do this. I think she will reach out and take your hand and say, you feel that? That's a rope?
Okay.